Well, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Bass Fishing HQ channel. Today I have something a little bit different for you, but I think you're really going to enjoy it. A couple of months ago, I did a video all about Ned Rig colors that I like to use, and I told you guys in that video that I actually pour my own Ned Rigs, and a lot of you guys asked me, hey, would you do a video about pouring a Ned Rig? And so that is what today's video is going to be about. We're going to be actually making the Ned Rigs, going through the process. It's something that I do because I do use a lot of Ned Rigs, and you do go through a bunch of them. You're going to get Neds snagged from time to time, but anyways, I just want to show you my process and show you what I do to make Ned Rigs. So stay tuned, it's going to be a good one. This video is brought to you by the Deep Dive app. If you guys are not familiar with this app, it's an app that you can download on your phone. It really helps you to figure out the bass on your local bodies of water a lot quicker. The thing that I love about the Deep Dive app is it is extremely easy to use. Once you get to the lake that you are fishing, you can simply select that lake in the app. It's going to bring in all the weather conditions, and then you can input what you are seeing out on the water. So you can add things like water temperature, water clarity, whether there's vegetation or not, whether you're fishing in a protected or windy area. Once you put that data in, the app will actually spit out some strategies and lures that you can use to go out and catch some bass. Sure, not every app is going to be perfect, but this app is based upon thousands of different data points from hundreds of different tournaments, and from what I have seen, it is pretty dang accurate. So if you are interested in downloading this app, there is a 100% free version as well as a paid version, and I'm going to leave a link down below in the description. So click on that link, download that app, and you're greatly going to help support the Bass Fishing HQ channel. So there are really two main parts to actually making your Ned heads. There is the actual building of the Ned head itself, actually pouring the lead, and then there is the other part, which is painting the Ned. Now, to be honest, I don't paint my Neds very often. I don't think that it's absolutely necessary, but I am going to show you how to do that in this video in case you want to do that. So right now I'm actually letting the lead warm up. That way we can pour it into our mold. And I want to go through some of the things that you're going to need in case you want to do this yourself. Obviously I have this Lee lead pot here. This thing has paid for itself. I love using it. It's extremely easy to use, and me and my buddy, we have poured hundreds of different jig heads and drop shot weights and Ned heads, all using this pot. Now the next thing you want is your actual Ned mold. This is a Do It Molds Midwest finesse jig. It has actually several different sizes. I have everything from a 1/16 of an ounce to a 1/4 of an ounce on this mold. Now the hook is something that I find to be extremely important with a Ned rig. This is the one that I really like. It's the Owner 90-degree jig round bend hook. I think the number is 5313101. The thing that I like about this hook is that I think a lot of Ned heads on the market come with too thin of a diameter when it comes to a hook, and I think that you lose a lot of fish because that hook will actually flex out on you when you go to set the hook on that fish. Now this is definitely not a thick hook by any means. It's still like a finesse style hook, but it's just a little bit thicker in diameter, where I think I really get a good hook in that fish, and I lose very few fish on a Ned rig with that hook. Now those are the main components that you're going to need. A few extra things that you're going to want to have is a file, a spoon, a pair of needle nose pliers, as well as a pair of wire cutters. Now the process of actually pouring the Ned is extremely simple. I'm going to load the hooks up with the mold, and then I'm going to pour the lead into the mold. Now I do not use plastic keepers on my Ned heads. I think that they create more of a hassle when you're out there fishing, because that plastic keeper tends to bunch that plastic up at the top, especially if you start catching a lot of fish. And honestly, before I started pouring Neds, I would cut that plastic keeper off. So I don't even add it to my Ned heads. I prefer to use just a dab of super glue. It makes that Ned as straight as possible, and as long as you don't lose that Ned head, you can catch probably 100 bass on one Ned rig setup because of that. After snipping off the excess lead with a pair of wire cutters, what I then like to do is actually file down the head. What I'm trying to do here is actually create a small flat spot on the very top of the head of the Ned rig. The reason I file down a small flat spot is because it allows the jig head to stand completely upright even without a piece of plastic on it. Therefore, I know when my bait is in the water, it's going to be acting just as a Ned should with its tail straight in the air. After these heads have been filed down, you could actually just use these heads as is and go fishing with them. But if you want to go the extra mile, I'm going to show you quick how to powder paint the heads for an extra quality finish. To powder paint these heads, you're going to need your powder paint of choice. Today, I'm going to use green pumpkin. You're also going to need a heat gun and a fluid bath. Now, you can buy a fluid bath online, but I actually built one out of PVC pipe and fittings, as well as an old aquarium aerator. Now, I'm not going to show you exactly how I created this fluid bath, but I will link a video down below that shows you the process of making one yourself. For the fluid bath, I use a simple piece of paper. I'm going to cut it out and use it in between the PVC pipe. Then I'm going to fill my fluid bath with the paint of my choice. The next step is heating up your jig head with the heat gun. Usually I let it sit on each side for 5 to 10 seconds. And then I'm going to dip my jig head in the fluid bath and then shake off the excess paint and then hang the bait up. Now, this powder paint job is definitely not perfect, but it will do just fine for me. The last step of this whole process is you're actually going to bake your Ned heads in the oven at home. Well, there you go, guys. We have a handful of Ned heads that are ready to go. And so in the long run, this will save you money. It may cost you a little bit money up front to buy some of the equipment needed, but it's also just kind of a fun process, learning everything, testing out different hooks and whatnot. So if you guys haven't seen the video that I did all about Ned Rigg mistakes that guys make, I'm actually gonna leave a link for that video right here. I really go into it and discuss kind of what I think are the 3 big things that guys do that really they shouldn't do with a Ned rig. So if you guys enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy that one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.